I spent 200 days in Calamity Revengance Mode. The goal this time, well, to try and defeat the Calamity Moonlord and every single boss before him. The challenge is how difficult Calamity bosses are, as well as all Terraria bosses, but that's also the fun part. Also, it starts a bit slow, but stick all the way to the end, it gets really fun. And for the sake of my sanity, please consider subscribing. These 200 days have been... No! Also, I have a second channel if you're interested, the link is in the description. And I'll make you a deal, if it hits 1000 subscribers, I'll start on For the Worthy right now. Anyways, enjoy the video. We're currently trying to defeat a boss named the Brimstone Crag, but my accessories and equipment just aren't cutting it. I learned to use adrenaline and rage, but if we really want to win this fight, I needed to do some farming. First thing we need, the panic necklace. So at the crimson biome, I got to smashing orbs, but none of them dropped it. But that's no problem, I'll figure out something else. At least I got a lot of gold from killing all those Brain of Cthulhu and selling the drops. The next thing on the list is getting the fabled turtle shell, and an accessory called the bee. And for that, I head to the jungle and got to making an area for farming. At night, there was a blood moon, where I managed to get an inventory full of giant tortoise shells, before getting the fabled turtle shell. But it makes me so slow, 50% reduced movement speed might be more than I thought. After selling all the turtle shells I got, I found a panic necklace at the base. Afterwards, I made my way to the underground to spread hollow and make an actual underground arena. I managed to get the cross necklace and even got a better magic quiver. While I wait for the hollow corruption to spread, I got to hunting for souls of night. I bought some wires for teleporters that I hadn't really been using because I was too broke, a contaminator, and the hollow blue solution. So now I don't have to wait for the hollow to spread. And now I have teleporters and the hollow underground arena to farm in. I can also now catch fish to use for potions. After spending all day doing some research and making dataless armor, but not using it since I didn't have the full set. On day 107, I got to fishing. While fishing, I placed a water candle so my minions can farm souls of light for me. Hopefully, they'll also get the jellyfish necklace for me, and anytime a mimic showed up, I made sure to kill it to get the health potions. I fished until day 108. Here's everything I got from my fishing. Not a lot of fish, but I do almost have 200 souls of light and a lot of loot because I did a lot of killing. And then I proceeded to open every crate and fish I could open. I had almost everything I needed to make an accessory called the Deficit Amulet, but I still needed one more item, the jellyfish necklace. And so while farming in the ocean, I ran into a boss that I wasn't sure I was ready to fight or not, but trying won't hurt. She's a lot like the Brimstone Crag, and I managed to get her down to half health, but I didn't manage to defeat her. On day 109, I did manage to get the life jelly, ran away from Anahita, and made the grand jelly. I also got a lovely heart to summon the forbidden one to... what is that thing supposed to be? After having defeated 200 jellies and spending half of day 111, I just didn't see this happening. On day 112, I got to fighting the Brimstone Crag once more. First attempt, I was doing well till I got caught up and took 300 damage for nothing. Second attempt was better, but still no. On my third attempt, I was doing so well, tried to heal, and completely messed up. Fourth attempt, nope. Back at the base, I finally defeated the pirate invasion that had been going on this whole time. My fifth attempt was so close, managing to get the boss down to 0.8% of health. My sixth attempt, I only had 2 potions, so I decided to be very careful when using them. At first, I didn't realize I only had 2 potions, so I drank the first one pretty early on. I kept the second potion till more than halfway through the battle. And then the one time I was more focused on my health than on my damage, I finally won. From the Brimstone Crag, I got the Charred Relic, the Gehenna, Abaddon, and the Sea Thing Discharge. Back at the arena, I tried fighting the Destroyer, but as I expected, they changed the way the battle played out. So it's time to get to work. On day 115, I began expanding the arena, because I realized this small arena isn't going to be good enough for Calamity. While I was building the arena, it rained a lot because of the toxic wasteland, so I decided to see if there was something new there, or if I could at least prevent it from raining so often. There were a lot of new enemies, but nothing too difficult to deal with. After dealing with the acid rain, hopefully it won't rain as much. I did get a sentry, so hopefully it can help in fights. It probably won't. For the rest of the day, I finished working in the arena, placing campfires and heart lanterns. While finishing the arena, the destroyer actually showed up at the perfect time, so I rushed to make holy arrows and then got to fight the destroyer once more. I was doing really well, except I got caught up in the body and ended up dying. I spent the morning of day 118 moving some items to chests below the base, where I always intended to have my items. I also realized how much work I had to do, so let's take things one at a time. Beginning by getting everything needed to make the Ankh shield. I had everything except for the blindfold. Fortunately, you can just craft items like this in Calamity. 30 silk and 5 souls of night for the blindfold, easy to obtain. And now to put my 200 souls of light into good use, by making keys to farm mimics. While farming, pirates decided to join, but that didn't stop me from just focusing on the mimics. And even though it wasn't meant to be challenging, killing one mimic at a time was really boring, which gave me an idea for the next time I fought them. From the mimics, we got quite a lot of weapons, but my main reason for doing this was the health potions we would get, although I didn't mind the extra gold. And after dealing with the pirates, I challenged a mechanical worm. From the treasure bag, we got nothing too special, just hollow bars and souls of might. I also finally learned how you're supposed to fight the mechanical worm. On day 120, I sold everything I got from the mimics and then got to organizing. I was getting way too many items and my mess was just building up. I did some basic organizing, cleaning up, setting up more teleporters, and then decided to change how the chest area was going to look. And finally, on the night of day 126, I was done organizing. It took quite a few days, and I did leave the chest behind with some unneeded items, but we should have everything important where we need it. I also had a unicorn statue set up the whole time, so I could get horns while I was organizing. After preparing some arrows to have around and making ichor arrows, I actually got to fishing. Armored cavefish and prismite for potions, but this time we also need the chaos fish to make the rod of discord, since in Calamity you can just craft the rod of discord. At night we didn't do anything special except challenge the twins. Not much has changed except both need to be in their second phase in order for one to be defeated. By using the nerds to heal, and barely before day 128, we managed to defeat the twins and got the souls of sight and more hollowed bars. And then we got back to fishing. I fished for most of day 128, but it was too slow and I wasn't getting any chaos fish. So I just decided to fight Skeletron Prime without it. It's not like I ever used the Rod of Discord to fight the mechanical bosses before. From the treasure bag, I got the Soul of Fright and some hollowed bars, and finally made the Pickaxe X. On day 129, using the few fish I had obtained, I made 11 endurance and life force potions. And then I head to the snow biome to finally upgrade my boots. I needed a special crafting station or the ice skates. And after mining for a while, I found the ice station. And with this, I can make the ice skates. In Calamity's Terra Spark boots aren't a thing, but instead we can make the angel threads. So that will be our next goal. On day 130, I made the obsidian water walking boots to make lava waters. I couldn't find the sky mill, but it turns out you can also just craft it. And so I made a harpy ring and then made angel threads. Afterwards, I head to the jungle to prepare an arena to fight the next boss. Well, we have an arena, but it's too tiny. So let's see how much area I can clear using over 500 TNT. I may have gone a bit overboard once more, and after cleaning all the chlorophyte, I got to placing platforms and campfires. When I was done, I had to wait for the jungle grass to grow, because the arena still wasn't in the jungle biome. I tried placing background, but that didn't seem to help. Either way, it's fine. I'm not gonna challenge Plantera just yet. I still need some upgrades. So after defeating some wyverns, I made new wings, to not have to hear that ice noise anymore. On day 133, I finally challenged Plantera. The fight wasn't too hard, but with this bow I was not doing enough damage. But I didn't do too bad, so I tried once more. And this time we defeated Plantera. From the treasure bag I got the Venus Magnum, the key to the temple, a thorn hook, and the spore sack. My current minion and hook was better though. I also got a new item called Living Shards, and the Plantera lore item which said, "Good job, you killed the plant." And I will have you know, I did do a good job. On day 134, I learned I could actually make quite a lot with the Living Shards. They seemed really important, so I decided to save them for now. But because I still wanted to defeat bosses, I got to mining that new ore that appeared after defeating Plantera, the Perennial Ore. And after farming Souls of Night, I made the Golden Shower. And then I made the Everglade Spray, which is just Ichor and Curse Flame combined. On day 135, I head back to the jungle to collect more spores. I also ran into a mimic by accident. It didn't kill me, but I can't believe it actually triggered me for a second. And now we have the full set of Reaver armor. The next boss I wanted to defeat is a Calamity original, Calamitas. And for the summon, we need Hellstone Ore, Blighted Lens, and the Essence of Chaos, which can all be obtained in Hell. But before that, I decided to try and find the Jellyfish Necklace. And after farming for most of day 137, I got everything except for the Jellyfish Necklace. I also took a small break to finish building the bottom area of the base. The story behind this tree is that it grew on this little island, but it's falling over, so it needs a fence to hold it up. I also made the most inefficient way of growing plants in Terraria. And after building a bit and placing a bit of water, I got to farming for the Jellyfish Necklace once more. I also decided to fight that mini boss again, because she kept getting in the way. I forgot how strong she was. And you know what? There was a change of plans. I decided to stop farming for the Jellyfish Necklace and head into the Jungle Temple. The temple was identical to the Terraria temple. Everything was the same, except for the last room, where you spawned the Golem. That room was way taller. And then I head back to the base to summon the solar eclipse. I got a new item called the Solar Veil, but I didn't really do anything with it. And also the Modron I was fighting despawned. They kept doing that and I wasn't sure why. At night, I got back to looking for the Jellyfish Necklace, because I was already using the Charm of Mist and Cross Necklace. On day 145, I summoned the Solar Eclipse again. The next Mothron I defeated dropped nothing. The fourth Mothron also dropped nothing, but it did kill the nerds, so thanks for that. The fifth Mothron I defeated didn't drop anything either. Don't worry, I got my platinum back. At night, I learned how strong some wings are, and decided to actually switch to the angel wings, since they give extra defense and life regeneration. And finally, the Broken Hero's Sword. This new sword did a lot less damage, but it's supposed to be an upgrade, so I assume the projectiles are really strong. I spent the rest of day 146 organizing some stuff around the base, to relax from the solar eclipse, but on day 147, there was another solar eclipse. So now it's time to upgrade my Ankh shield. There's actually a lot of stuff I needed to get, starting with the ornate shield. I needed crystal shards and cryonic bars. That's the easiest part. For the shield of the ocean, I needed big tide bars and coral. Also fairly easy. Then I head to Hell to defeat the Brimstone Crag to get the Abaddon. But then I head back home because I realized I already had it. The core of Calamity sounded really complicated, but it was actually quite simple. All I needed was essence I already had and some ectoplasm. And after farming for a bit of ectoplasm, we made the core of Calamity. On day 148, I found seashells and sea stars in the chest at home and then made the Asgard's Valor. And now, with my Pharaoh double rod and the master bait I bought from the merchant, I got to fishing. We needed to fish Princess Fish, Armored Cave Fish, Prismite Fish, and Chaos Fish, and whatever other fish we can get to make food. Fishing without having to worry about bait and with 2 rods was really fun, so I fished all the way until day 150. While fishing, I would occasionally kill jellyfish, and at this point, I don't even think the Jellyfish Necklace even existed. But then, it happened. The necklace was right there in front of me. The quest was finally over. And from fishing, we got quite a lot of items. But that didn't matter, because we finally have the Jellyfish Necklace. So it's time to make the Deficit Amulet. I also made the Rod of Discord. And now, to open everything I had fished. It's finally time to defeat some more bosses, starting with Calamitas right now. From Calamitas, I got a staff to summon her and her brothers. Apparently she's a girl. I also got the Essence of Calamity, the Void of Calamity, and a Broken Hero Sword, and some Essence of Chaos. I was ready to move on to the next big bad, the Golem. Before making an arena, I was trying to access my piggy bank and accidentally summoned the Golem. I feel like I've been in this situation before, but I never learned. At first, the fight didn't seem too different, except for we actually had to fight the head this time. I tried my best to use the hook to make up for the lack of an arena, but I didn't do too well. Also, I had forgotten the power cells at home, so it works out. The second time I fought it, I successfully dealt with the head, but did not expect the body to jump out and attack me, and I died. For my third try, I came with a huge upgrade. A very small amount of wood has been placed below me. And it actually worked, I can't believe it. From the Golem, I got the Pixel and the Sunstone, so I don't really need to farm anymore. Back at the base, I made a Celestial Shell, and after doing some organizing and placing banners, I turned my 270 Souls of Light into keys to fight some mimics, but this time I thought it would be more fun if I fought them all at once. There's so many. I made so many. After selling everything I got from the mimics, plus the platinum I had got it from defeating them, I got to reforging all of my accessories to try and get warding. I also got to working on the final island, where I'll keep my trophies for now. I'll change it to be used for something else if I need to. Back at the ocean, I began working on an arena to fight Anahita in, but later decided to head to the Astral Infection biome to fight Astrum Aureus, which I quickly realized I was not ready for at all. So instead, I got to placing teleporters from the base to the dungeon, and from the dungeon all the way to the sulfurous sea, and then got to mining Scourge ore in the abyss. While in the abyss, I got some depth cells, luminile, and scoria ore, and wanted to see what was down in the deep dark abyss, but before I died I didn't really see too much. And now we're kind of running out of time, and there's still a lot I need to get done. So let's begin by getting everything needed to make the miracle fruit, which will increase my health even further. We had almost everything, except for the teal mushroom. So after mining underground, I made the miracle fruit, and now my health bar is orangish. Then I got to mining obsidian, and also opened all the abyss treasure I had gotten, and finished off the day with some organizing. Now, to make a new weapon, we're going to need to defeat the Moonlord. And so I head to the Crimson biome to defeat the Brain of Cthulhu once more, and then head to the jungle to collect spores, but I was attacked by a Plaguebringer, which dropped a new item called the Plague Cell Canister. We could use these to summon a boss later on, but for now we're working on something else. I also ran into our first Terraria companion, a babyface monster that I had originally named Johnny, and after collecting the spores, I made the Jungle Blade, the Blood Butcher, and then the Knight's Edge. But we're not done yet. For the next sword, we needed to defeat the Cryogen again. We now have everything for the Terratome, but we can't make it just yet. For now, we simply head to the dungeon to try and make an area to farm to get the Wrath of the Ancients and the Paladin Hammer. While farming, I got items needed for the Ninja Gear, the Paladin Shield, and the Key Brand. I also let the Martian invasion happen just to see how much different it would be. Back at the base, we were greeted by a Martian saucer, and I'm fairly confident nothing changed. I did get the Xeno staff, but my current minions are better. On day 158, I defeated more saucers, got the UFO mount, and then the invasion ended. Afterwards, I made the Ponage hammer, and then made the Fallen Paladin's hammer, and a whole lot more potions. And then I got back to farming in the dungeon, where I stayed farming all the way until day 160. On day 160, I was deciding whether to head home or not, but then we got it. I had gotten quite a lot of loot, including everything needed to make the ninja gear and over 100 ectoplasm. On day 161, I made the ninja gear, but I already had Asgard's Valor, so I left it in a chest for now. Afterwards, I head to the jungle to farm for plague cell canisters. And on day 162, I made the Abomination, and then got to fighting the Plaguebringer Goliath. The battle was fairly simple. It was much like the Queen Bee battle, but I was having a hard time reacting to the movements. After my third try, I made the stasis belt and moved the nurse. By my fourth try, I was starting to get the hang of the boss, but still wasn't close to defeating it. My fifth try was even better, but if I wanted to heal, I was going to have to need to take the Plaguebringer further away and then teleport back. On day 163, I took a break from the fighting because I hadn't even noticed there was a solar eclipse going on. And because I didn't want to deal with it and needed iron, I got to mining all day. And on day 164, I got back to fighting. For a bit, I was stuck in the halfway point because it always felt like no matter what, I would lose health, and decided I needed a weapon with lifesteal. I lost the footage for day 164 and 165, but all I did was make the Terror Ray, a magical weapon with lifesteal. But I'm still fighting the Plaguebringer. And then I simply decided to stop dying, which made me do a lot better. And ended up dying when the Plaguebringer had barely any health left. On day 167, I upgraded the house because everything was so close together and I kept removing my spawn or accidentally using the teleporter and teleporting the nurse away. And finally, on the rainy night of day 167, the Plaguebringer Goliath was no more. And I was very worried because of how strong that boss was. I was kind of concerned with how difficult Moonlord might be. From the treasure bag, I got the Virulence, the Disease Pick, the Fuel Cell Bundle, the Rash Toxic Heart, and the years I lost of my life. But I didn't take any breaks, other than the 10 minutes I took contemplating life. Instead, I decided to continue fighting, and I fought Anahita, because I needed to pay her for killing me when I was trying to farm. And this armor and weapon combination seemed like it would be perfect. And how right I was, look at how weak she was. Alright, I have changed my mind, I don't want to play anymore. Yeah, is a siren, and the Leviathan is terrifying. After a few tries, I had learned her patterns, but I still died. But I was confident it would be easier than the Goliath. And still, after a bit of trying, I managed to defeat the two of them. And after reading the lore, I felt bad. And from the treasure bag, I got Anahita's Arpeggio and the Leviathan's Ambergris. On day 169, I got to collecting Lizard Temple bricks, and then I got to working on a massive sky arena. On day 170, I made a bunch of death whistles to try and fight the Ravager, without preparing, just to see what it did. I quickly learned this arena needed a few more layers, because it just fell down. On my second try, I took it too far away from the nurse, and it despawned, but it seemed really manageable. On day 171, I defeated the Ravager. I thought there was still a third phase, but I guess I was wrong. And from the treasure bag, I got a Geode, the Infernal Blood to make Rage do even more damage, the Blood Pact, and the Cranium Smasher. I like the 1000 health I get from the Blood Pact, but I did not want to be able to get crit. I did keep the Ravager lore item in my inventory though, because I get more damage but lose wing flight, which is fine, I wasn't too concerned with it. I did have one of the worst wings for flying. Let's take a break from bosses and begin with events, starting with the Pumpkin Moon. The Pumpkin Moon can be summoned with the Pumpkin Medallion, much like the Goblin Army, but there didn't seem to be any new enemies or much change at all. But it was fun being chased by so many pumpkins. We also got a lot of loot from all of that, but nothing too useful. On day 173 there was a solar eclipse, but because I didn't want to deal with it, I got to fishing. And at night, we dealt with the frost moon. The frost moon wasn't as eventful, but I did get the razor pine, a snowman cannon, festive wings, and a Christmas tree sword. On day 174, I got to farming for Ichor. I had the Everglade spray, but having Ichor on melee is just more convenient, since it's constantly applying itself. Afterwards, I began working on spreading and making an arena in the Astral Infection. I wasn't too sure if the boss got angry if I took it outside the astral biome, but I didn't mind spending a few days placing blocks just in case. On day 178, I built another 2 floors in the middle house, and then just kinda stopped building because on day 179 there was another solar eclipse. So I got to fishing once more. On day 180, after fighting the boss a few times, I learned what I needed to do, and that was change the arena a bit, and by a bit I meant a lot. On day 181, I took a break from building the arena and got to mining for heart crystals, because I forgot you can just craft them in Calamity. And while mining, I ran back into that water biome, but this time so much of the water was missing. And because I didn't like how close I had to be to use my melee weapons, I made the Terra ship. The ship seemed to have held, but it's still a matter of learning how to dodge the attacks. And because I ran out of stars, I got to farm Stardust to make even more boss summons. Or so I thought, but I still had one more left. And this time I understood that all I had to do was run away. And even with the revival of one of my accessories... No, come on. Oh. I still didn't manage to defeat it. On day 183, I got to farming for Stardust. And at night, I fought Astrum once more, but ended up running too far away and it despawned. And finally, on day 185, no! I barely managed to defeat Astrum Aureus, but we did it. Why, so close. So close. Come on. Oh! This saved me. From the treasure bag, I got the Starlight Fuel Cell, a mask, the Gravisaur Sabaton, the Lula Astralis, and the Astrum Aureus. I hate these. Why do I have to pronounce this? I also thought I could mine that meteor thing, but I guess not. Turned out there's another Astral boss, and because I had time for one more boss, I decided to challenge Astrum Deus. Whoa! Let's go. Oh, I do no damage. And like always, it seemed like I was facing another impossible boss. Well, it's time for a new weapon. There wasn't much time left, so I decided to only spend until day 90 attempting this. We're going to need the Kill Haul, a weapon dropped by giant cursed skulls, and I got it from the first cursed skull I defeated. Now to prepare. reforging, getting better accessories, and because this boss decreases flight time, something told me I wasn't supposed to fly, so I brought the UFO mount. And at night, I tried once more. My gear was really strong, except there was so much going on, Terraria would slow down really bad. And it did so much damage, immediately removing 10% health like it was nothing. Oh no! Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, it did that did a lot of damage. On day 188, I got to building my rage and farming for Titan Hearts. While farming, I got one of the best weapons in Calamity. And then I died messing around with it.
Bam, bam. Oh, oh no.
At night, I challenged Astrum Deus again, and in one of the most intense fights I've had yet. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. In the middle of the fight, I ran out of healing potions, accidentally removed my respawn point, and almost got me and the nerds killed. I still had 2 days left before I focused on the Moonlord, but I was starting to run out of time. I learned to completely deal with the first phase like it was nothing, but the second phase felt impossible. Not to mention, I was running really low on potions by this point, and I needed them now more than ever. And so on day 189, I prepared a lot of potions, got some new accessories, and then head to Hell to get items needed to summon the Blood Moon. After heading to the jungle, I head to Hell once more to get the charred ore. And at night, I got to farming for blood orbs. Afterwards, I spent the rest of the night looking for the orange blood root, and found one in day 190. Using everything I had collected, I made the blood orange for an extra 25 permanent health. Now, all I had to do was get all my rage, and try one final time before focusing on the Moonlord. I'll return post Moonlord if I don't manage to succeed. And after taking a break, I had lost all my rage, and then I died anyways. After that, I just head to the Lunatic Cultist to try and get a victory. Except that Lunatic Cultist was very different. So I began working to get a whole new weapon to fight one boss all over again. On day 192, I got to farming a few bosses, defeated the twins for hollowed bars. On day 183, I fought Plantera for living shards, realized I wasn't recording and freaked out, and made the true arc of the Asians. Defeated the wall of flesh once more, and since the nurse has carried me this far, I simply made a house for her in the dungeon and kept trying. Well, I guess the nurse really has carried me these 200 days. Now, to deal with the celestial pillars, and then die to the Moonlord. From one of the enemies, I got the Meld Blob, a new Calamity item. I also learned that these enemies drop corresponding fragment, and after almost dying, I defeated the solar pillar. And finally, with the last pillar destroyed, the Moonlord was arriving. Except I had completely ran out of money, so I wasn't going to have the nurse as support in this fight. I lasted way longer than I expected but died. Right away I sold some items to have money and then spent the rest of the day mining for titanium and fishing. Afterwards I fought the Moonlord once more.
What? No way. Oh my god. We did it.
And managed to defeat him. But that's not where Calamity ends. In fact, we're far from done. Except now, I'm completely blind to the world of Calamity. And also, I did have enough time to try and defeat a post-Moonlord boss.
We did it. Now what? Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen anymore.
From the treasure bag, we got
An onion? Luminite? The gravity glove? 8 defense? The portal gun? The rainbow staff?
but the first thing I made was an upgrade to my boots. I also upgraded my Fallen Paladin's hammer to the Stellar Contempt, and fought Astrum Deus once more, and defeated it so easily.
What?
I thought there was gonna be more to that boss, Oh my god, really? But I guess not. From the treasure bag, I got the Astral Bulwark, the Astrum Deus and Astral Infection, the Regulus Raya, the Starfall, and a really cool yo-yo that I thought crashed my game called the Microwave, and some stress pills. On day 197, I mined the meteor in the astral biome, and then spent the rest of the day fighting Astrum Deus to get a powerful accessory called the Hide of Astrum Deus. Just kidding, I got it first try. While in hell, I got attacked by a bunch of new enemies. From these new guys, I got Unholy Essence and an Energy Staff. And then I realized you don't get Scorch Hour from hell, so I head to the Abyss. Luckily, I'm sure no one has made it this far into the video. While I was in the Abyss, a new boss attacked me, giving me flashbacks to the Aquatic Scourage. And now I have the Arc of the Elements and no money. Reforging everything was very expensive. And so I defeated Moonlord once more because I wanted solo armor, now to challenge the Dragonfolly. Everything went wrong, but I decided to keep trying. On day 199, I farmed for the fungal carapace in the mushroom biome, gave up, and decided to fish for prismite and armored cavefish. On day 200, I opened some crates and challenged the Dragonfolly once more. I got so close, but the nurse had died and just barely was defeated.
So close.
But then it turned out the nurse was alive, so I still had a shot. One more try, one last day. I'm not gonna make it dramatic, I failed. But I refused to give up. From the wizard, I bought a celestial sigil to summon the Moonlord. We're going a bit over 200 days, but I did start on day 103. Now I get 2 more tries, but I only needed 1.
What?
But I only needed 2.
Thank you.
Oh my god. From the treasure bag, we got the Foley feed, a new big friend, the Golden Eagle, Dynamo Stem Cells, and the
Yes.
Red Lightning Container.
Oh, I got him.
And that's all the time we had. Having defeated a post-Moonlord boss, I felt like it was the perfect place to leave off. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any advice for the rest I have left of Calamity, make sure to comment down below. Thank you all for watching, and subscribe. We're close to 30k. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to finish Calamity. If you have any advice, please let me know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.